What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of The Courier, the newest film from director Dominic Cooke. Now, before we begin, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming in next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button, as well as commenting below any video that you watch, including this one. So based on a true story and set during the height of the Cold War, which was a kind of spy versus spy scenario where the United States and the Russians and of course the UK were all kind of involved in this kind of big conspiracy where they were constantly going back and forth, stealing secrets, basically to, make sure everyone was on the level when it came to nuclear armament and stuff like that. And it came to a head pretty much when Robert F. Kennedy and John F. Kennedy went up against Khrushchev and basically had the Cuban Missile Crisis, which of course how we know how it ended because there was no actual bombing and so on and so forth. And so this movie, The Courier, is basically about a character named Greville Wynne, who's played by Benedict Cumberbatch, and he's an individual that's just a salesman who goes over to the Eastern Europe, many times a year to sell his wares and products and stuff like that. And he basically, with the help of the UK government, is in essence basically turned into a spy with also the help of the high-level Russian Kremlin individual named Oleg Penkovsky. And basically for a couple years, these two individuals were able to smuggle about 5,000 pieces of intel to the UK government to help kind of, keep an eye on the Russian government so that they wouldn't cause a nuclear war. And in the long run, both individuals were caught, were sent to prison, and of course, as we know by Penkovsky, he was unfortunately executed, but Wynne was, of course, let go. And in essence, that's what this story is. This movie is a kind of true story about these two individuals and what they did and how Penkovsky became so important in kind of the turning point of the Cold War itself. And so it's that story. It's those individuals. And then we have, of course, Rachel Brosnahan, who works for the U.S. government, who is taking some of these secrets, who's trying to, get, of course, Cumberbatch's character Wynne to do what he needs to do. And, of course, we have Jessie Buckley, who plays Wynne's wife. And it's basically just kind of the overarching kind of fallout on what exactly happened with these two individuals. And so when it comes to a movie like this, you don't want to be too critically harsh on the idea of them trying to tell a true story because, with stuff like Snowden and stuff like Breach, these stories that are being presented are being told in as truthful nature as they can present it without being completely boring, because if you know anything about real life, most of it's 100% boring, so you have to have some kind of visual flair, some kind of, theatrical kind of reverence and stuff like that, so you have to make it a little more exciting than probably what it truly was. So in essence, you have to look at the movie like, is it a movie that's worth watching? Is it a movie that represents its like true to life material really well? Is it a movie that you can sit down and be kind of engrossed while learning something about the Cold War or learning something about the true facts? And for the most part, I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the performances of Benedict Cumberbatch and Merab and Nindze. I thought they had a pretty good chemistry in the movie. You really felt the tension of what they're trying to go through. They really kind of sold their characters very well. When they show some of the real life footage, I think Benedict Cumberbatch really sold his character and really kind of made it really authentic because they really feel like similar characters. And the ideas that you're being presented, the whole kind of, espionage, spy thriller nature of the movie, I do think works on a pretty good level, I guess you could say. I think when the tension's there, it really does work. When the ideas are being presented, it really is kind of chaotic and tenseful and stuff like that. When we see, of course, like I said, Rachel Brosnahan and stuff like that, I really do think they give a good authenticity to the situation at hand, which was a really dark and very serious thing. But the problem with these types of movies, and I know a lot of people like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, is the material so dry sometimes, the material is so kind of in your face that you kind of become a little bored by it. And that's not necessarily to say the movie isn't trying to be entertaining. It's just, it feels like a paint by numbers movie. It feels like they took a movie that was a realistic approach to a situation and kind of made it a very atypical TV of the week type of movie. And it just not necessarily wholly works, when there are points where, they'll be out partying or they'll be, taking the film that, Penkovsky took. And it just feels a little too spy thrillerish in a lot of ways. It feels like the UK government was like, we want to make this in a more realistic approach. And sometimes it just doesn't come off as very authentic or very just kind of entertaining, I guess, in a lot of respects. So the movie has some interesting moments, some interesting ideas, but, unlike something like Bridge of Spies, it doesn't really feel like a very entertaining, very just fun movie, I guess you could say. And it's not supposed to be a fun movie, but it's supposed to be something that could keep your focus for an hour and 50 minutes. And it doesn't do that for a lot of the times. And it's just a hard movie to kind of go on board with, just for that simple fact. And like I said, like movies like Breach and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and of course, Bridge of Spies and stuff like that, I think those movies are much more entertaining because you have a writer director, especially in Bridge of Spies, with the Coen brothers and of course Spielberg, who have a sense of bringing tension and bringing fearfulness and bringing sadness and bringing the nature of the spy thriller, and just bringing it and kind of making it interesting. And I mean, like I said, it's not to take away from the movie at all. I still think it has its moments where it's a lot of fun, and I think when the kind of fallout happens, I think it's really tenseful and really sad and depressing, because all these individuals want to do is just keep the peace between the countries, and they got basically screwed over by the Russian government for it. But overall, and to kind of end this review, I think the movie has its moments, it has its merits, but unlike something like Bridge of Spies, like I said, it just doesn't hold your attention very well. I don't think the cinematography is a little bland and kind of grayish, and the music's a little off kilter and offbeat and so on and so forth. But it's a movie still worth watching if you're really into like the kind of Cold War-ish type material, or you're into those kind of theatrical experiences when it comes to kind of telling you a story like that. But just overall, it wasn't something I was hooked on. So, but the story itself is interesting, the ideas of what actually happened. So, but that'll do it. That'll be my take on The Courier. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you know anything about this incident with Penkovsky and Wynne. Is the movie, if you decide to see it, is it pretty accurate to what actually happened? Let me know. But otherwise, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like the video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.